Welcome back to the 128 KB podcast. We are back once again.
Due to lack of popular demand.
And that demand is so lacking that we've increased the price.
We have indeed. Yes.
Not of the memberships.
No,
we're still stuck in the past.
Yes.
But no, it is the season of increased prices, and we want to get to that later. But this is your weekly dose of all things gaming. This is where we kick back, relax for an hour or so and just chat about the world of gaming this week.
Yes. And before we get there, just got some news, because during our live show last time, everyone said, Andy, you've got ripped jeans.
Yeah.
Can you
jeans.
repair them? So what I did is I bought some new jeans, but it seems like the delivery man wore them whilst painting and decorating.
That's upsetting.
Before giving them to me.
Yes.
So they're covered in paint. So
wow.
they're not ripped,
No.
but they are covered in paint.
It's a look.
It is a look, yeah.
It's nice. Today's super awesome video sponsor is MOBAPAD. Long-time viewers will know that MOBAPAD is our absolute favourite brand for Switch controllers and Joy-Cons, so it's genuinely a real joy to promote them. Seriously, their Joy-Con alternatives are a genuine game changer. No more drifting, no more hand cramps, just awesomely spec'd, great-looking Joy-Cons. And the Pro controllers are just as epic too. They're packed with features and feel amazing in your hands, all at a really competitive price. So if you're looking for a Joy-Con alternative or a new Pro controller, check out MOBAPAD on the link below. How's your week in gaming been, apart from Gene Geek?
It has been playing apparently a Sony game on Xbox.
That's what it feels like, isn't it?
Yeah, a bit of Bioshock Infinite, it looks like.
Mixed with Horizon and Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
Horizon Expedition 33.
That's it, yeah. So we've been both playing.
Clair, Obscur.
Yeah.
Expedition 33.
Indeed.
Obviously, everyone was losing their minds about how good this game was.
Yeah.
An unexpected epic game from Xbox.
Yes.
I remember in the developer direct a few months back when they announced it, they announced South of Midnight, and they did the deep dive on Doom, and there was something else as well.
Yeah. I can't remember.
No. And I was most hyped about Doom.
Yeah,
I remember I even did a whole video and I was like, Doom's coming!
Yep.
I'm
still really hyped for that.
Yeah. And South of Midnight, I was a bit kind of like, I'm middling about it. I'll try it because it's on Game Pass, but I'm not fast. And Expedition 33, I was like, turn-based RPGs right up my street. I'll try it, but I wasn't that fussed either.
See, I'm the opposite. I saw Clair Obscur Expedition 33, and I was like, yes, this looks amazing. Then it showed turn-based combat. I went, no, skip, next.
Switch off.
But I have been playing it, and by me saying I've been playing something, I've been playing it vicariously through my wife.
Which is a lovely way to play this game.
Yeah, so she's playing it, and I've been watching.
Yeah, no,
basically.
I would really enjoy watching this game, because I think that's actually its peak. The turn-based combat, I've become accustomed to how Final Fantasy has kind of evolved turn-based combat
into the action turn-based combat.
So there's still attribution points or action points or whatever it is.
Yep.
So there's a turn-based element, but you're actually really active the whole time.
And you've got two play styles on Final Fantasy. So you can either go menu hopping, which is so funny because I'm such a contradiction and a hypocrite.
Such a Pokemon fan.
There's certain turn-based games that I do like Pokemon and stuff. But with Final Fantasy, you're gonna like it because you can just hold L1 or whatever and then press
quick menus.
Triangle or circle, whatever, just to do the actions.
Yeah.
So I thought, that's how I'm gonna play it. It's like an action-based game then. No. I go in and I press X and I go through the menu and I read what I want to do and I find it that way. Even when I'm I'm 60 hours still into Rebirth and I still do this.
Yeah, it's fine.
So I'm doing it oppositely of how I thought I would play.
Yeah.
Which is weird. But so
it's, I was just going to say, for me anyway, and you can shoot me down if you think I'm wrong, and that's fine because it's just an opinion. Final Fantasy is the epitome of role-playing games. For me, it's the peak.
You're wrong. I'm just doing it for everyone else that's going to comment.
Yeah, and I know there's probably loads better and there's loads that you'll love more, but for me, it's the Final Fantasy, just genre in general, is peak. And they've evolved turn-based combat into something that's kind of halfway in between.
Which I think is great, by the way.
I really enjoy it as well.
Brought people in like me that would otherwise not bother.
Yeah. But it isn't turn-based pure. It's not pure turn-based.
No.
This is going back to turn-based of old. And it's a little bit jarring for me, if I'm honest.
Wow.
I don't dislike it.
Mm-hmm.
But I do, I'm a good 3 long sessions in, so I'm maybe 12 hours, 15 hours in.
Okay.
I've been playing it.
Yeah.
I'm finding it a little bit repetitive. The fighting.
Okay. Yeah.
That'd be my criticism of the game. It's a little bit repetitive.
So just sticking on the fighting thing, I suppose the reverse is kind of true for me.
Nice.
I'm enjoying it. I know I'm not actually playing, but watching it, like, I still like that it's that old school, like you bump into the enemy and then it starts the fight. But I like the like quick camera actions. It's
really stylish.
Yes.
It looks beautiful.
And it keeps the pacing up.
Yeah.
You're not sat in a menu.
Yeah, and
do you know what I mean?
Constantly changing.
Constantly changing.
And if you go into a menu, it like the camera pans around and zooms in on you.
Yes, I like the like fast pacedness that it feels, even though it's technically quite slow if you removed all the visual like effects. But I do like that there's active dodging and parrying during an enemy
quick
attack.
time actions in the fight as well.
Yeah, so
you can get like critical strikes by getting it perfect time
so
and stuff.
I actually was almost going to bypass this game, but I thought I'll make my wife play it.
Do you know, I think
I like it.
There's a lot of this in general, this game.
Yeah.
I'm being heavily critical
No,
on
of course. Yeah, no, it's good.
purely because I wasn't fussed before, and then I saw everyone's like the Metacritic score was like stupid high, like 93 or something. It's getting rated as like one of the best 100 games of all time. I was like, really though? Because it looked like a cool RPG, but I'm not sure it's that good.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm playing it, but I'm also with this like really critical kind of lens on it. So I'm picking everything apart.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably unfair. I should just take a step back and just enjoy it. And I am.
Yes.
My emotion is I'm enjoying it.
I think if I take a step back and look at it like as a whole, as the experience, it's very enjoyable.
Yeah.
And I'm liking it. Like I'm wanting to watch more of it.
I think as I'm talking about it, one of the things I should definitely do with the combat is I just need to bump the difficulty level back up to the next level.
Yeah, okay.
To make it more of a challenge.
What are you on?
The one above story, whatever.
Okay, so just like normal mode. Oh, okay, fine. Yeah, yeah.
Because it's story and you just steamroller everyone. It's really easy.
Yeah, we're in normal mode.
I started on that and I was like, this is way too easy.
Yeah,
there's no challenge at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I put it in normal mode. But then there was a couple of bosses, like mini bosses that came up across that I couldn't beat at all.
Okay.
They're like way overpowered for you, like that early in the game.
Yeah, we've got some of those as well, yeah.
They're horrendous. The story so far is phenomenal.
That's the most compelling part here.
It's beautiful.
And I think that's why people are loving it so much, is because the story is a beautiful story, like very compelling. You know, you've got that dark sort of melancholy like feel.
It's dark
to the
and beautiful.
Thing.
Melancholy's the perfect word.
And it's beautiful. Like it really sucks you in, and I want to know more, you know?
Just wish, okay, for those of you that played it, you'll understand. Just wish that the prologue didn't happen.
Yes,
the prologue was a
flashback
in one of the campfire scenes later on.
Yes.
That they started with a beach landing.
Yes.
Because the kind of Saving Private Ryan moment at the start. It's like, what's going on? Who's the guy with the sword? We're all dead.
Yes.
And then I have a real love for games and films and stories that throw you in at the deep end, that as the observer or the protagonist, you have no idea what's going on. And you're just kind of, you're running and you have no idea why. And I always rubber band back to, and I said it to you in a text, Half-Life 2
is
the perfect version of that.
Yes.
You're chucked in at the deep end, you're running, and as the player, especially if you've not played Half-Life, you've got no idea what's going in.
That's how I originally played. I played Half-Life 2 first, and then I played Half-Life.
So you're just like, I don't know what's going on. There's crazy shit happening everywhere. Let's just keep going.
Yeah, so compelling. Like, but you look at big movies. I mean, Star Wars started with Episode 4 or whatever.
Chucked in at a deep end.
And even like arguably Alien. You have no idea what's going on. It's just the chase and be chased kind of thing. Like those movies are so gripping.
The story kind of unravels itself.
Yeah, as it goes on.
And then there may be moments of serenity, like in games you're afforded those because they tend to be like 50 to 100 hours long, the story.
Yes.
You have moments of calm where the backstories can be told.
Yeah. I totally agree with you. The intro could have come as chapter 2.
Yeah.
I think chapter 1 arguably should have been you're on the beach, like you're going through, you have no idea what's going on, and then it pulls back and kind of, because the intro really kind of fleshes the story out like immediately.
Yeah, it's too deep at the start.
As to what's happening. I get
and
it.
way too slow.
Yeah, that's
Jeez.
it's slow anyway, and the way that my wife was playing it, where she's like walking around talking to everyone, unturning everything just to find secrets.
Playing it like it's Shenmue.
Yeah, literally that. We were sat there for like an hour and a half in the prologue, and I was just like, I was getting bored. You know what I mean? But I think if you just steamroller the intro and get into it, it's fine. But
I did.
It should have been the other way around. So story-wise, I think that's probably where most people are so compelled, because we were talking off camera. I said it feels like a PlayStation game.
100% does.
Because of how in-depth and engrossing this story is. And I think that...
And for it being a quality RPG.
Yes,
it's just a very PlayStation, Nintendo thing, isn't it?
If you look at Xbox, it's kind of lacking in that respect, in like heavy like RPGs. So I feel like if you isolate the game to Xbox, which in my mind is like multiplayer games, shooters, sports games, like that kind of thing.
Yes, definitely.
This does feel like it's getting the attention it deserves. I feel
it's not lost on me that it kind of appeals more to the Eastern market than it does to the Western one.
Yeah, I get you.
And that's where Xbox has been lacking hugely.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, my wife said to me that when she was playing through it, it's not similar at all, but there's things that remind her of it, which I agree with. She was like, "What's the booby game you were playing before on PlayStation?"
Stellar Blade.
Yeah, Stellar Blade, because it's got that kind of feel to it. Like it's got that kind of
dream world
kind of feel, and it's almost similar in line with the beach bit and stuff.
Interesting.
The music as well is very similar. Like it feels very Asian.
It feels very Asian,
but it's not.
But it's clearly French.
Yeah.
It's that it reminds, once you're on the, as they call it, the continent.
Yes.
The giant monster thing is very Horizon.
Yeah.
It just kind of feels like these kind of weird giant monsters.
Yeah.
That are kind of slightly familiar, but feel like a mashup of different things. There's like elements of that. There's huge Final Fantasy vibes all the way through it.
Yeah. And weirdly, I thought it looked like BioShock Infinite.
Yeah.
When I saw screenshots and stuff, I was like, this looks like BioShock. And the intro, especially that prologue where you're jumping through the rooftops and the town and stuff. Looks very BioShock.
It's weird that also with the prologue, they kind of introduce it as more parkour-y.
Yeah.
And then actually when you get into the game,
it's not.
Not at all.
No, I'm sure it will become so later.
Maybe.
Because, no spoilers, but obviously there's a bit where you're climbing up a wall and they're like, I wonder how these hooks have come here. And it's like, it must have been the people before us at the climbing expedition.
Oh, yeah, that
it's like, okay, so as you progress, you're going to find that each expedition had its unique thing.
Yes, true.
And so I think it will open up to more grappling hooky bits and stuff, which got that element of parkour. But I did like it in the city, running around there.
Cool.
Very beautiful.
I'm worried. There's a bit I'm worried about. I said this to you earlier because there's moments where you go to new areas. You leave the first area, which is like the forest.
Yeah.
And then there's an open world kind of map, and then you can go to different areas that are as big as the forest bit, but they're connected through this map area. There's one that's fake underwater. It's really well done.
Cool.
It looks like everything's underwater, but you move like you're not.
Okay.
It's quite well done. And I don't like underwater levels.
Yeah.
But all the scenery is the buildings from Paris.
Yes.
Which is the intro of the game.
Yes.
And at that moment I was like, I really hope this isn't some kind of you're in a dream at the point of death game. Because that's been done, excuse the pun, that's been done to death.
Yes. Yeah.
I worried that South of Midnight was exactly that as well.
Yeah.
You're
I've not
already
completed
dead.
It yet, but
and
you're totally dead.
And you're playing through some kind of weird Half-Life, Afterlife thing.
Yeah.
I hope it's not that, because it's almost like a cheap way out of doing a fantasy.
You woke up and you were in a coma. Cool.
Things can just be a fantasy and it's fine.
Yeah, precisely. I mean, I did get that vibe of Lost City of Atlantis, kind of feel when you're in the Paris city, because it's all blown up and floaty and stuff.
Yes. It's weird. It's cool. It's dark. It's beautiful. I do think that people maybe are overreacting with everything at the moment too much.
Yeah.
And that we've had a good game released and suddenly everyone's saying it's the best game of all time.
Yeah.
It was only a week ago that puzzle game Blueprints was the best game of all time.
Yeah,
there seems to be a lot of that at the moment. Like it's either like overpriced, it's worst thing ever, or it's the best thing ever.
No one's talking about the performance.
I'm so glad you said it, because that was my first, and it was your first reaction as well.
It's the first thing I could see.
The game performs on Xbox like ass.
Oh yeah,
it's
bad.
Awful.
Bad. Like when it opens up, I was like, whoa. Like, you know, when you first enter the game,
you're on the balcony, aren't you?
The main character is Robert Pattinson. I don't know why.
It so is Robert Pattinson.
Yeah. So he's going to get his Batman hat out in a minute, and or maybe he's like from Twilight.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah. So Robert Pattinson's there, and his hair, man, like the upscaling artifacts around his hair, and it's very flowy and like particularly effect and everything. This whole game, there's a lot going on.
Dancing Shadows was the other one as well.
So, and the staircase scene, like when you're going down to the port, and the stairs, and and again, my wife's normally not one to really care about FPS and if it's a bit janky, but she was like, what is going on with the hair? What's going on with the stairs? You know, like
I think it's really exaggerated in that, because it starts off and you're kind of looking at almost like a fantasy Parisian sunset.
Yes.
And you're like, wow, that looks beautiful. If the art style's like this always through, this game's going to look gorgeous.
Yeah.
So there's a big emphasis on how it looks.
Yes.
And it pans around to the main character and you get in a close-up and you can see these horribly upscaled hair that's blocky, and the shadows of the hair are moving even though it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
And then you're seeing like the aliasing kind of fringing on stuff, shadows dancing around, and you're like, oh, I'm focusing on how it looks, but it looks ass.
But that's the thing, like it's got the potential to look beautiful.
I think
like
on a PC,
the game looks stunning, and I think they've done a really good job on the hardware they've got, because they've made a game for like the future. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%
like
is that.
if you run this on like the Xbox 2 or whatever they'll call it, like it'll be great.
I think sadly it's ahead of its time.
Yes.
Or we're just seeing that games now are outstripping console hardware dramatically.
They're just all ahead of its time, I think. But yeah, on PC, I've not tried it on my PC, but that's going to be the place to play it.
Yeah.
You know,
my gut reaction was like, oh, it's obviously running in performance mode.
Yeah.
That's why it looks so bad.
I assumed so.
So maybe it's just default to performance mode. As soon as I get out of this kind of cutscene and I can open the menu, I'm just going to put it, I'm going to put it in quality mode, see what it looks like. Because it must look better. And then see how the frame rates cope. Open the menu, quality mode. It defaulted to quality mode and it looked rubbish. I was like, oh. No. I just remember thinking, things are about to get rough, AJ.
Yeah.
Performance mode.
Savage. Have you left it in performance?
I've left it in performance
Savage.
mode. Because I want it to be fast.
Yeah, fair enough. I don't think it feels too bad, or looks too bad at least, in 30 FPS. If it is defaulting to quality, we haven't checked.
Yeah.
I assumed it was in performance mode. It looks fairly smooth to me. Like there's obvious frame dips and stuff going on here. The one thing I did notice, which is a gameplay issue, is what's up with the characters, like animations walking and stuff.
Awful.
It's so skatey. There's no connection with the ground. They're like floating.
Do you know, you can change characters, can't
yes,
you?
and one of them flies.
So I picked the one that flies because it was doing my head in.
Yep, and that's what Christina said, because she was when she's Robert Pattinson, like right at the start of the game.
Yeah, he's like ice skating.
She was running around like doing all this twitchy stuff. She was like, "What is this?" And then like the jumping and stuff. She was like, "It feels so disconnected."
Yes,
and I said, "It looks terrible. Like it looks really bad." And then when she got that one that can fly, she was like, I'm staying like this because it feels like it's meant to be like this.
Exactly. That's so weird.
So the walking and the movement and the turning and stuff and the jumping is like not right.
And performance is rough.
Yeah.
See, and this is my point when I go back to I think everyone's just overreacting to everything. I think it's a good game. I think the story is great.
Yeah.
The art style's beautiful.
Yep.
I think the performance is terrible on current hardware, unfortunately. So, like, if you were going to score it, be like, yeah, it's like a good 8 out of 10 kind of game. It's a good game. I'm going to enjoy playing it. It's not in the Hall of Fame game.
No, but I think you're still, because ultimately at heart, you're a PlayStation person, and you come from, this is your kind of game.
This is my wheelhouse.
Yeah, exactly. So for you, this is like a solid game.
Yes.
But it's not like fantastic. Like it's not you know, change your pants level.
Yeah.
But I would say for the majority of like Xbox players, It probably is.
Fair.
You know?
Yeah.
So like changing, because like I said earlier, like I don't see Xbox as like an RPG fantasy wheelhouse. That's PlayStation land. So I feel like if you kind of put yourself in what Xbox does, this is kind of that.
Yeah, that's
so I can
fair.
see why the praise is up there.
Yeah.
You know?
So if you'd score it, would you say it's in the best 100 games of all time?
Probably not, but I haven't.
That's where everyone's where it's rated.
I know, but I haven't completed the game.
Yeah,
like
that's
8
one
out of
thing.
10, yeah,
I don't want to be like I don't want to die on the hill of like not being overly positive.
Yeah.
Because I want to complete it.
Yes,
and that's high praise in itself at the moment.
Yeah,
considering it's a Game Pass game.
Yeah,
it's so disposable.
Yes, yeah.
I want to complete it. I want to see what the story's like. It might captivate me even more. Or if it goes the way I think it's going, then I might just be crying.
Make sure you ruin it for me if it is that.
I'll warn you.
I'll
pre-warn you, don't worry.
If it's like all a dream or whatever, just say don't bother playing anymore. And I'll be like, okay.
And the other thing is I've got to complete it quickly because in a few days, Doom's out.
When is that? Because I should know because I love Doom, but I didn't. You said the other day or last week, you were like, it's coming out soon. I was like, is it?
It is, yeah, it's May. Doom...
Gonna be May.
13th of May.
13th of May?
Yeah.
What?
So literally you got like
days,
like 10 days or so to complete this.
Oh my days.
Literally.
That's not going to happen, yeah.
No.
But to be fair, Christina's playing this, so I'm not.
You just have to keep encouraging her to playing it.
Yeah, she'll be playing it, and then I'll be playing Doom on my PC.
Yeah. Sat there on the Ally playing Doom while she's playing it.
Yeah.
No, I'm watching you.
Yeah.
It's going to be... Here's something I'm really excited for. Doom Dark Ages handheld.
What, on Switch 2 when they launch it in June?
Yes.
It's gonna be there.
Yeah.
You know it is. All the other Dooms are on Switch 1.
Well, yeah, I often forget, and I think everyone often forgets what games were originally ported to Switch 1. And some really adult ones. I definitely do, because in the conversations about Switch 2, I'm always going, oh, this is Nintendo's move into like the adult gaming.
That's already there.
It kind of is, isn't it?
Yeah, it's already there.
Just, it struggled with a lot of stuff.
Yeah, that was it. It was just hardware limitations were so severe, you know. But now we've got some actual hardware to play with. Like, bigger games are going to come.
What do you think it's going to be like on the Ally?
It'll be fine. Doom's like notoriously easy to run. You know, like the engine is just so easy to run. Like that's why it runs great on Steam Deck, which, you know, is the worst powered handheld now.
Yeah.
You know, bar Switch 1. And it runs like a champ on there, you know, so it'll be absolutely amazing on the Ally.
Yeah.
You know, I really think so. Like on the Ally X specifically, it's going to perform brilliantly. I mean, we'll see. I will do a video.
Yeah. I'm excited to see it. I think I've got a feeling like that game's going to really excel handheld.
Yeah.
Because the fact that it's melee based and there's going to be a lot of parrying and stuff and countering, I feel like for some reason, I feel like when you're almost like you're closer to the action, that feels more tangible.
I want to see if they do like motion controls on Switch 2 with it, because you've got you know your sword and shield in Doom the Dark Ages. So I'm pretty sure is it Cyberpunk? Yeah, I think it's Cyberpunk for Switch 2. They've added motion controls for swords and stuff.
It's motion controls in the Oblivion,
Skyrim.
Skyrim port.
I think so. Yeah,
it is.
I think so. Yeah.
So when we see Oblivion Remastered come to Switch 2, which is going to happen,
oh yeah,
you reckon they'll put gyro controls in there?
Yeah,
that's cool. That will make it really cool.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm fairly certain in the Cyberpunk developer diaries, whatever they call it, on Nintendo are releasing. I think they're calling it the developer diaries. I don't know, whatever it's called. They're like the speaking things where they talk to the devs. They did one on Cyberpunk a few weeks ago, and I swear in that they said they've implemented gyro for the swords and stuff into Cyberpunk. So they've actively like made that for the Switch 2. So
Talking of like Switch controls, I had to Google something the other day, and I don't know if I missed it entirely or we've not ever looked at it. But obviously we had a video that went out on the channel about the Pro Controller 2.
Yes.
and how amazing it is, because it is genuinely amazing. And then obviously there's been a lot of kind of pushback about it being crap compared to the PlayStation one. Specifically, PlayStation fans really hate that Nintendo are making something cool.
Yeah, PlayStation fans hate any other controller because their controllers last for about 25 minutes.
Yeah, battery life's rubbish. The one of the pushbacks I saw specifically that I Googled was about, but will it have haptic feedback? And I was like,
it's got HD Rumble.
It's got HD Rumble, is always my reply. And I was like, well, hold on a minute. All of these companies use third parties to make things.
Yes.
Who made haptic? Who made HD Rumble?
Yeah.
Guess what? It's the same company.
Yeah.
So I think they're called Immersion. The company's called like Immersion something. Yeah. They developed the haptic feedback for the DualSense controller. Yeah. They also developed HD Rumble and worked on HD Rumble
just
too.
Linear motors. Yeah.
So it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Just very accurate linear motors.
Yeah.
That simulate movement, basically.
Yeah. And the Switch came out before the PS5.
So they just didn't call it haptic.
PlayStation copied Nintendo.
Well, and in a very Nintendo way, they called it something that's very accessible to the broadest market possible.
Yeah, HD Rumble.
High definition Rumble is way more understandable than haptic feedback.
Yeah, little Billy doesn't know what a haptic is.
No, but it's a great marketing spin.
Yeah.
Anyway, I had to get that out though because it came up.
Yeah.
And
can I just say 40 hours battery?
40 hours battery life?
Yes. So there you go.
For a controller?
Yeah.
That's wild, isn't it? That's absolutely wild.
Versus what, 2 hours on the PS5?
The original DualSense I used to get 2 hours out of.
Yeah.
They claimed 4, but you never got anywhere near it.
False advertising.
A bit like they claimed 8K on the box.
Oh yeah, and then silently removed it.
To be fair to PlayStation, they quietly updated the DualSense controller about a year ago.
It's got double the battery life now.
Double the battery life.
4 hours.
Yeah. So I think they're now claiming 6 hours playtime. 6 to 8 maybe.
Oh wow, so there's still false advertising.
Still false advertising,
okay,
yeah.
Cool. Nice.
But let's just play pretend and it is the number on the box.
Yeah.
It's like you're getting 6 hours playtime.
Cool.
The Switch 2 Pro controller is claiming 40 hours.
Yeah, and it actually gets there because my original Switch 1 Pro controller, which bear in mind now is what, 7-8 years old?
Yeah.
Still gets 40 hours. Still.
It's incredible.
8 years.
Yeah.
Battery is still good.
I think these like build quality things and these quality of life parts are the bits everyone overlooks when they're just reacting to a headline price.
Yes.
And also the fact that the Pro controller is their Pro controller.
Yeah.
It's their top end controller.
Yeah.
It's their elite controller.
It is the Pro, yeah. It's the equivalent of the DualSense Edge or the Xbox Elite.
Which, can I just say, this is going to be a beautiful segue into the main topic, but the new Xbox Elite controller prices are the core Xbox. Oh, just the standard wireless controllers, 65.
Okay.
Oh, it's not in that list. That's a real shame.
Oh.
I know the Elite controller's like gone up by like $100 or something.
What?
It's gone up. Yeah, I think it's like I think it's gone to $200.
Wow.
It's hellish.
Wow.
So that is the main point, really, of today. We're 30 minutes in. Hello, welcome. If you just skip to this bit. Yes. Prices. It's my least favourite topic.
Yes.
And when it came to the Switch 2, we tried to avoid it. We touched on it a little bit, but we tried to avoid it. Whether something's overpriced or not is relative to what you can afford. So it's a very personal thing. And that changes for everyone month to month, day to day. Some months you can, some months you can't.
Yeah.
Unless you're like a millionaire. And none of this is relevant anyway.
You won't be watching this anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So whether something's overpriced or not, it's totally relevant to you and like what you want to buy. So we've tried to avoid that conversation, just focus on the merits of the piece of hardware. But regardless, despite us trying to just be positive about it, we just get loads of pushback about the price. Nintendo overpricing their games. When we say that actually, no, the hardware is pretty fair price when you look at it, then everyone just goes, it's the software that I'm worried about. And our overall takeaway was just wait, because this isn't Nintendo starting something. This is just them entering the next generation, and everyone's going to be there in a second.
Yeah, they're reacting to the world situation currently.
We saw PlayStation at the same time, and no one talked about it, quietly in Europe, in the Middle East, edged the prices up of the baseline PS5 to £430 it is now for the digital-only PS5. didn't get covered at all. And it didn't get covered because the American pricing hasn't been updated yet.
Yeah.
The American pricing hasn't been updated because they don't know what's going to be happening with the tariffs and the tax situation.
Yeah, but they will have to respond soon. So everyone's going to flip their,
So we've got two things happening at the same time, really, with kind of computing in general and software, is that things have been underpriced for a long time in gaming. Maybe not in the PC space, but definitely in the console space.
Still been more affordable in the PC space than it is now.
Prices just, when you look back, like, say, 15 years, prices were pretty much the same as they as they were, like, yesterday.
Yeah.
But now everything's readjusting. We're seeing, obviously, Nintendo have shot the starting pistol with slightly more expensive hardware, definitely more expensive accessories.
Oh, so it's Nintendo's fault?
It's Nintendo's fault. And according to the comments on this news story, Microsoft reacted by instantly upping their prices too. And PlayStation apparently preempted it.
No.
Everyone's going to be doing it. You're going to see it across all technology, all electronic components. It's been underpriced for a little bit. Some companies are making things at a loss. So they're readjusting their pricing. And then on top of that, for you people in the US, the tariffs coming in, depending on where the stuff is made, is going to go up even more. So you're actually going to see a disconnect between the American pricing and the rest of the world's pricing.
But the rest of the world's pricing is also
is
inflated
increasing
because of that.
Yes, and it is slightly impacted by that because they're worried about, is there going to be a smaller market share in America now? And does that mean that they're going to make less, so they have to charge more? All of these things. But what we saw this week was Xbox announced their updated pricing to reflect this for Europe, for Australia, for the Middle East, and for America as well. And the prices, we're getting variable pricing now. It's getting a bit wild.
Yeah, it's crazy. Shot right up.
So I wanted to set my stall up from the start with this because it's not Microsoft reacting to Nintendo. It's everyone keeps saying Microsoft is a multi-billion-pound tanker of a company, cannot course correct that quickly. Decisions cannot be made that fast.
Yeah, and they're not going to be responding to Nintendo. Like, they don't care about what Nintendo are pricing.
The most open goal thing any of these companies could do is drop their pricing right now.
Yeah.
Like, if they could.
Yeah. But
because then they'd win.
Yeah.
But no one can. They can't afford to.
Yeah.
So this isn't this isn't them being greedy. This is them having to do this in order to keep the company going.
Precisely. And now it makes the Switch 2 look the right price.
That's how I want to frame this.
Yeah. Because, I mean, I'll just say it immediately. I always thought the Switch 2 was priced accordingly.
Yes.
I never had a problem with the price of the system.
No.
It's like £80 more than the Switch OLED for what Nvidia claim is 10 times the performance.
I think one thing that always gets lost in the Switch pricing, like the new baseline Switch without the bundle, is that it's the same price or slightly cheaper than the Steam Deck LCD when it launched, the 64 gig version.
Yeah.
That the price dropped quickly on the Steam Deck, but when it launched, it was overpriced for the time.
Yeah. So it was like £400 basically. It was $399, I think, for the 64 gig.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, when we're looking at equivalencies, but that got forgotten. I'm not sure what happened there.
But I just don't understand that, like, people were comparing it to Switch 1 price, which was severely underpowered at the time, regardless. It was already out of date, like massively. And it was launched nearly a decade ago.
Yes. Yeah.
And the price has literally changed from here. Switch OLED launched at $320, I want to say.
Yeah, $329, I think it was.
And now the Switch 2 is $395.
Yeah.
10-year difference, 10 times the performance, and people were upset.
I don't know.
If it was 500, then I'd kind of understand.
But whenever you say this, people tend to understand that the hardware then becomes actually quite good value for today's money. They then just point straight at the pricing of the software.
I know, but that's what people are saying now.
Yeah.
Like, people's response to our videos are like, never said that the hardware was the problem. It's the games. Hang on a minute. I can go to our videos prior and everyone's not even talking about the games.
Yeah, everyone's moaning about the
They're
hardware.
all moaning about the hardware. So what is it?
So straight off, let's go to the games because Xbox have announced that by the end of this year, all new releases on Xbox will be $80 in the US.
Thanks, Nintendo.
It's Nintendo's fault.
America.
So they've matched Nintendo's top line pricing on the Nintendo's variable pricing.
Yeah.
They were keen to stress that they will still have a variable pricing structure at Xbox.
Game Pass.
They haven't announced anything about Game Pass pricing. That's bound to go up a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, so their top line price for their AAA games, we're looking at Call of Duty specifically here.
Yeah.
It's going to be $80 if you want to buy it. But they will have variable pricing. So some of the smaller games, some of the indies will be, which is the same as Nintendo, the same price as Nintendo.
Yeah.
But Xbox are pricing it at $80 for physical and digital the same.
Oh, wow.
They've not copied Nintendo on the split pricing.
So literally $80 across the board.
Which I think is a little bit rich.
That's a bit
for a
steep.
digital game.
Steep, isn't it? Yeah.
How that can be the same. The madness here is that if you've got a Series X and you can use the discs, that you'll be able to find that $80 game for probably $70 or maybe $60 from a retailer.
Yeah.
Maybe they've sat on stock. Maybe they're doing it at a loss to get you in the shop.
Yeah.
You see it all the time that physical games tend to be less than RRP.
Yeah, it's always been the way.
So we're going to continue this weird anomaly that digital games will be more expensive than a physical without the benefits you get of physical gaming.
That should be the discount here.
Yeah.
And honestly, as much as everyone wants physicals to survive, they're not going to. Let's just face it realistically. So this should be the death of them to push them out, to up the price of the physical.
But give the gamer a benefit.
Yeah.
Some benefit from it.
But also drop the price of the digital.
That's what
so
I
there's
mean,
a clear divide, like $20 difference or something like real steep.
Digital games are now $60 and physical games are $80. So if you want to be a collector, you're going to have to pay that premium. But actually, I'll probably be able to find it for $60 in a shop anyway.
Yeah.
So it's all the same. But also, why they didn't copy Nintendo on that, I don't know. But also, Nintendo were really keen to roll out a suite of things to try and make digital games more palatable for collectors long term. The virtual game cart thing, sharing games, linking it to your account rather than to your system. Like they've really tried to appease people a little bit.
Yeah, I hope they refine it because it still needs to be better.
It does need to be better.
But I really like the fact, and again, no one's talking about it, $80 for America. Yeah, but you save 15% or something if you buy it digitally?
Yes. There's a benefit.
So here in the UK, it's like 75 physical.
Yeah.
Where it's like 65
digital.
So it's like there's a clear...
It's kind of a no-brainer unless you're a diehard collector.
Yeah.
I'll just get the digital one. And it's linked to my account rather than my console. Yeah. All that good stuff. Yeah, Xbox have not followed that.
I didn't know that. I thought it was just physical prices.
They've not announced the prices for any other region apart from the US on games yet.
Oh, okay.
The reason they've firmed up the price in the US is that I believe the discs, at least, are made in Mexico.
Okay.
So they know what the tax implication is there for the American market. We can just assume that the games are going to go up everywhere. I think we're going to see a standard pricing. So I think AAA games going into the next generation in the UK are going to be £75.
Yeah, so $80. Yeah,
$80. So there's the kind of equivalency there.
Yep.
Again, this isn't Nintendo shooting the starting pistol, but
it's nothing to do with it. Yeah.
It's just that the timing is just there.
Yes.
We also saw huge increases in their hardware prices, and this is where it gets sticky.
This is brutal because this now makes the Switch 2 really appealing, in my opinion. It's a brand new system.
Remind me again how much the Switch 2 is.
$395.
$395
UK.
The Xbox Series X will now cost £499 in the UK. $499. How much did I pay for my refurbed one? Is it $320 or something, wasn't it?
$320, something like that, yeah. Yeah, and just remind me how old this is?
4 coming into 5 years.
Basically 5 years old. 2020 it launched, wasn't it?
It was.
It's 5 years old.
I've lost track of time.
Yeah.
5 years and we're increasing the price.
Increasing the price, yeah.
To be fair, in the UK, that price increase is only £20.
Yes.
So we're talking about the RRP price.
Yeah.
In Europe, it's going up to €599, €600. It's an increase of €50.
Yeah.
I don't know why there's a discrepancy there.
Don't know.
Which is an odd one. When you go to the US pricing, the Xbox Series X in America, it goes up to $599, which is an increase of $100.
$100 increase.
So you can see the discrepancy there. In the UK, the price increase is £20, which is about $30.
Yeah.
If you're to roughly.
$35.
Something like that. In the US, the price increase is $100. So if you want to know the impact of the current tax system, the tariffs and all that, that's what the impact is right there. That's significant. Would you pay £600 for an Xbox Series X?
But I actually think that it would be more than that in America if they didn't charge more everywhere else worldwide.
Yeah,
so,
I think they're eating a tariff.
They're spreading the American damage across the rest of the world.
I'll go through some of the costs, and then we can just compare it to the Nintendo Switch 2 being overpriced, right? 512 gig Xbox Series S.
Okay.
In the UK, it's going to cost now £299.
Wow.
In Europe, it's going to cost €350, which weirdly is an increase of £50 and €50.
Okay, so they've changed it for the Series S.
So you can see that in some areas of the market, they're trying to make more markup than others.
Yeah.
This kind of variance. The same console in the US, Xbox Series S 512 will cost $380, going up $80. So the price increase is the same, pound for pound.
Yeah,
$80 is about 50 quid.
Yeah.
So there, the tariffs aren't affecting it at all. So they're obviously eating all of it and passing it over.
Yeah.
The 2 terabyte Xbox Series X, which is like the
new
Galaxy
one.
edition, isn't it? Or something?
Yeah.
That's going up £40 or €50, going up to £589 or €699.
Wow.
In the US, this is where it gets really sticky for them. The 2 terabyte Xbox Series X in the US is now $729, up $130, and now makes it more expensive than the PS5 Pro in America.
Currently. Yeah.
For a few short weeks.
I was going to say, until tomorrow.
So PS5 Pro is currently $700.
Wow.
I think when a PlayStation like to make their announcement, some point in the next few weeks, we're going to see it in America from PlayStation.
It's got to be. They have to respond soon because that grace period's only how long?
90 days.
90 days. They're going to have to come up with it for sooner.
They know where their consoles are made. I don't know if Sony manufacture in Vietnam or China. It's going to be between the two, isn't it? I think they'll switch to Vietnam pretty quick.
I was going to say, I think currently it's mainly China based on what people on Twitter have been saying.
Yeah, that's rough. I think the PS5 Pro is going to be, clearly going to be near $900.
$1,000 PS5 Pro.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, plus the disc drive.
Oh yeah. And the PS5 DualSense Edge.
Who knows what the controller's going up to?
Well, it's already like $1,000 for that, isn't it?
Yeah, if you wanted to get everything. Xbox Elite wireless controller Core is the price hasn't changed on that. $150.
So it's the Core that's $150.
But the Elite, the full is $200 now.
Yeah.
And the difference with the full is that you get the back paddles.
It's not just that. You get the case. You get the case. You get the charging dock in the case. You get the back paddles. You get changeable sticks, toppers as well.
Is it worth it?
What, the extra $50?
Yeah.
Probably. It depends.
If you're moving around a lot.
Yes. If you're someone that was like, going to LAN parties, whatever you call them these days, I'm old.
No one has LAN parties anymore.
I used to.
But 20 years ago.
But whatever you're doing with your controller, if you're moving around a lot, then probably, because if you buy all these bits separately, I mean, ultimately, what we did was buy the Core and then just buy some cheap back paddles on Amazon.
I bought scuff ones.
I know you did. But I bought cheap ones off Amazon.
They were on offer. They were like $10.
Yeah, because that was it. I didn't need replaceable stick caps. I just bought like some Skull & Co toppers to put over the top.
I wouldn't pay $200 for it.
No.
That just seems madness, doesn't it?
But Switch Pro controller is overpriced at $80.
It is overpriced, Andy. I don't know why you keep saying that. It's not. It just is over. Everything Switch is overpriced.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Forgot about that. That's fact.
Sorry, there is an increase on the Elite controller. It's going up from $140 to $150. So it's a $10 increase.
Okay.
Not really much to write home about.
No.
The baseline controllers are $80.
Oh, really?
There you go.
The baseline controllers have gone up to 80. So now the Switch 2 Pro controller isn't overpriced.
No, it's not overpriced. It's fair pricing. And the thing is, it's not cheap. None of this is cheap. And I don't want to sound like I'm being dismissive.
No, because that's something that someone called us up on
Cost of living crisis, you're being so insensitive.
If you can't...
Look, if it's a choice between like living well and buying a Nintendo, live well.
Yeah.
Right? Don't be stupid.
You shouldn't be buying... These things are a luxury item.
100% are a luxury item.
You don't need it.
The other thing is that just be sensible with your purchases.
Yeah.
We've had, unfortunately, the good days are gone. We had a great time of like 15 or so years where things were relatively underpriced.
Yeah.
Games hadn't shifted in price much. So earnings had kind of increased. Inflation and everything else had gone up. But games and consoles had roughly stayed the same.
Mm-hmm.
It's over, okay? Things are just more expensive. So we're going to have to go back to what it was late 90s, early 2000s, where you had to be a bit more cautious with what you bought.
Yeah.
Maybe you didn't buy every single game that came out.
Yeah.
Maybe you bought a game when it was secondhand.
Yeah.
Maybe you bought a game, you played it and completed it, then you traded it in and took it off the price of a new one. That's how we all did it.
That's, literally how, like, I've seen so many people complaining about game prices now. And it's like, oh, I can't buy 30 games this year. It's like, I used to buy like 2 games.
2 games a year and just play it
and
a lot.
I played it and you complete it and then you go back and play it again.
100%. Yeah, and you enjoy it. And if you're the kind of person that wants to just play loads of games all the time, then get Game Pass.
Exactly that, yes.
And pay whatever it is.
15.
Get Ultimate and pay £15 a month and then play that. And that's the equivalent of 2 games. So make a choice. You either get 2 great games and enjoy it and play it a lot, or get Game Pass and play through them a lot. Nintendo have an equivalent thing. They've got Switch Online and the Switch Online expansion pack.
Yeah, and there's some really good games on there, especially with GameCube coming.
Some fantastic games on there that you can sink lots of time into. And then you got, there's just sensible ways of doing things. When I think about Nintendo, I'll go, okay, let's pretend I want to play something that's going to let me play for like 200 hours. Well, I could go buy a secondhand copy of Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
It's like going to be like 30, 35 quid.
Yeah.
I can play it on my Switch 2. I can not pay for the expansion pack and not pay for the enhanced edition. Just play the original Switch and it will play.
Yes.
It will play fine. And I'll be able to have a fantastic experience for 200 hours in that game.
Yeah. With a
it's going to last me like 6 months.
Yeah.
And I've only paid £35 for that game. You're just going to have to be smart.
Yeah, you just have to be smart instead of like we're in like a disposable society.
The negative from all of that, I'm saying that, is that the games industry is going to shrink a little bit now. There'll be a contraction because there's going to be less disposable purchasing happening.
Yeah. Less people are going to be throwing the money around.
Be more cautious.
Yes, which it should be the way anyway.
Yeah.
And it might force game developers that are lazy, I'm not saying any specific, but it might force some that put out subpar titles to up their game, just so that they can actually make something worthwhile.
Well, that you be sure that if there's upset now when Ubisoft port a game that's broken day one and needs like day one patches.
That's just their thing.
That's just their thing, yeah. You'll be sure that if people are paying $80 and £80 for a game that's subpar at launch, there's going to be a lot more upset.
Oh, yeah.
Especially if it's the only game that they're going to be buying for the next, let's say, 3 months. That this is my game, I'm going to buy Assassin's Creed Shadows.
Yeah.
Actually, a better one would be Star Wars Outlaws.
Yeah.
And it's broken.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot more upset.
Yeah, well, look at Star Wars Outlaws when it launched. The game's totally different now.
Yes,
I actually recommend playing it. But at the time...
I'm waiting for Switch 2 just to see what it's like.
I really want it on Switch 2. Yeah.
That's going to be really interesting.
Yeah, it's going to be the most demanding title. Like, everyone's like, Cyberpunk, it's not. This is going to be the most demanding.
Yeah. Baked in ray tracing.
See how that goes.
Yeah, so I think sadly we're just going to have to be a bit more cautious with how we buy things and how we go about it. And play games to completion for once.
Yeah, don't do what I do.
Well, we're both guilty of it. I've been collecting a lot of old games and I don't play a lot of them. I'll jump in and out of games all the time.
Yeah.
I've played Oblivion for a total of 4 evenings, and
I played
I'm
it
probably
for
not
one.
going back into it.
I'm not going back to it, but that's Game Pass.
South of Midnight I played twice, and I was like, that's not for me, this.
Game Pass.
Game Pass. And to me, that's being sensible with it.
And that's how I'm fine playing a game for 2 to 5 hours and then ditching it, because
it's like a game trial.
It's like free. Do you know what I mean? Like, I know it's not, but in my mind, Game Pass is free. Like, if a game's on there, I'm like, well, it's free. You know, whereas if I'd have spent $80 per game, there's no way I would play one evening of Oblivion and then throw it away.
I'll be persevering.
Like in the last podcast, I think it was, I said how many games I was played. Yeah, in that like week.
Just like 5 games.
There's like 5 different games. Imagine spending $80,
$400,
5 times for me to play for like a few hours and go, nah. Like, are you joking? Do you know what I mean? Like, there's no way I could possibly do that. And that's the thing where I think where I've always loved Switch is when I buy a game on Switch, especially if it's a Nintendo IP, I end up just sinking time into
really important point as well. It's not talked about enough. Nintendo IPs, I would say 99% of the time are incredibly tight, solid experiences that are designed to be played for multiples, like into the hundreds of hours. But regardless of the length of time, the time that you have in it will be a consistently great experience.
Super fun.
That's a very Nintendo thing.
Yeah, they're focused on fun.
And consistency.
Yes,
like it has to be consistently
good.
Yeah. I think there's a few notable examples that did happen on the Switch where the Switch was just letting it down. But on the whole, you don't see them allowing a release that's subpar.
Yeah.
So you know that, yes, this game... You know Mario Kart World, let's say it's the only one that is $80.
That's true, yes.
You know it is, but you know you're going to get a crazy good experience.
Totally worth it, in my opinion. Totally, because you're going to be playing that for 10 years.
Yeah.
You know, like you're going to be playing it for a long time and you're going to love it.
And here's testament to it. I played Mario Kart. I always even forget what the number is now. Is it 8 Deluxe? 7? 8 Deluxe.
Yeah.
I played that yesterday.
Did you?
For the first time in like...
Ages.
Maybe a year or so. I was like, and I jumped into it. I was like, this looks and plays great still. And it's a Wii U game.
Yeah.
Like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
So all these years on, it's still a fantastic experience.
Yeah. And you could play that now and still have fun.
So if you were going to go for like a value proposition, you go, it's definitely worth it.
Yeah. And that's the thing with Nintendo games as well, I find, is even their like big hitters. Let's just take Mario Wonder, right? I remember when that came out and people were like, completed it already. It's like, you haven't though, have you? You've played through each stage once, not found everything, not done everything that they offer, but that's okay. Like, if you've done that and you found it, like, because I remember them being like, yeah, I played, it's like completed it in 20 hours or something. It's like, you didn't complete it, but you finished the story or whatever you want to call it, right? And you had fun, that's fine. If you feel like you've got your money's worth, cool. But then for people like me, I will sit there and I will not move to the next stage until I've 100%ed everything in that stage.
What game was it recently you were trying to 100%? You did it. Oh, it was Miles Morales.
Yeah. I didn't even go into that I actually went in with the opposite mindset. My problem is I want to 100% everything, but then I get sidetracked, I get bored, and then I go to the next game because something else has come out.
The 100%ing thing comes from an era where you could only buy a couple of games a year.
That's how we grew up, because you had to 100% it because you had nothing else to do.
So you might as well. And then you're like on like FAQ. Do you remember FAQ forums?
Yeah.
Game. I'm sure it was called Game FAQ, the website or something like that.
I used to buy mags as well.
Yeah, and you were trying to figure out, and like someone had found out the secret to do X, Y.
Yeah.
Like you were in it.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you know what? And that was maybe it's being overly nostalgic, but it was a cool time in games, that was, because you would like get deep into games.
Yes, but what I mean is Nintendo give you that choice.
Yeah.
You can either speed run it and have a great time, or if you want more money, or if it's just your way of playing games, you can sink hundreds of hours just making, like, really trying to nail each level and whatever.
The other thing as well that I'm acutely aware of, Xbox pricing... it's increasing slightly. The hardware's increasing slightly. It's a bit stingy. Nintendo's next generation is more expensive than the last. Well, big surprise. The games, you go, we're kind of doom and glooming it, and everyone's overreacting, I would say. We can only go from our perspective. In the UK, top end game was £70 before. It's
Yes.
gone up to 75.
Yes.
It's not that big an
It's
increase.
not even 10%.
And we've already seen that it's not all of the games. It's actually only one of the games so far.
Yes.
It's that expensive. So we're seeing like a huge variance from like that Gravity Racer game. And I can't even remember what it's called. That looks
Fast
great.
Fusion.
Fast Fusion, which is like £15.
Less than that. It's 13.
£13. Right the way up to Mario Kart World, which is 75. There's also the prospect that actually nothing changes because it's not that drastic. It's not like they've gone, it's been massively underpriced for over a decade. It's now $100 for a game.
Yeah. I'd be more shocked if games were 50 still,
Yes.
and then they went up to 75. Because
Huge increase.
that's a 50%, like,
Yes.
you know, and whoa, like, you know, that would be shocking. Less than 10% increase. Everything every year gets more expensive.
Yeah.
Look at the food shop.
Yeah.
Like every time I go into the shop, it's more expensive. Like week on week. So
just with games, it just seems to be has to be this big announcement, and everyone has to react to it.
And it's like if we went to the cinema, like let's say me, you, producer Pete, and Christina went to the cinema, 4 of us. That's like nearly £100
easy,
just to get in there, sit down,
2 hours of
with some popcorn for 2 hours. You buy a game for £75, and you've got years potentially of fun from it, you know, and much longer than 2 hours for a one-off session. So yeah, I don't know, like.
Yeah, look at like I think Clair Obscur is going to be a good example of that. Expedition 33. I imagine this is. Well, I've already seen huge amounts of that game that I know I need to go back to if I want to 100% this.
Okay, yeah.
So you know that this is a game that's probably like a 40-hour story, but potentially 200 hours 100%ing it.
Yeah.
It's one of those types of games.
Yeah.
Oblivion Remastered is a great example as well. Just thinking of like very recent releases.
Yep.
I'd hate to think how many hundreds of hours I've spent in that world
you could
already.
Spend so much time. You could potentially spend thousands of hours in those
if you were
games.
new to this and you just bought that Oblivion Remaster, hundreds of hours. Considering the remaster is all the DLCs as well. So all the added like areas and missions and stuff.
Yeah, the value proposition's insane.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and I bet you I spent the same cost in 2005, whenever it was that it came out. I bet it cost the same price then as it does now. When I bought it.
Probably.
And I had to buy it twice.
Because you're melting PCs.
Yeah. So yeah, it's kind of annoying. But a game like that, the value proposition is so high.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, is like it's variable pricing. That's why you see something like Fast Fusion being like £12, £13.
Yeah.
Because it's just a gravity racer, which is cool, but it's
fun.
priced accordingly.
Just fun.
You know, you look at Oblivion, where you could spend 1,000 hours in it.
Yeah.
It's the same with like the Xenoblade games. They're insanely massive. You know, like you could potentially spend 500 hours plus if you really wanted to.
Yeah.
And you're spending what, like $60, $70 for that?
Yeah.
Crazy.
I'm going to say it out loud now as we get to the end of this. This is the last conversation I'm having about Switch 2 pricing.
Yeah, I'm
done with it. I'm done with the conversation.
same.
It's interesting that Xbox have increased their prices as well. It sucks. It's kind of questionable because we're 5 years in.
You know, we're probably going to talk about it again with the PlayStation.
When PlayStation prices go up.
And then we'll be done with it.
Absolutely. The other thing is, you know, we've got potentially the next generation of PC handhelds going to be dropping. Asus have been quiet since the drop. So what the prices are going to be there.
I'm
it's
worried.
Going to get sticky there.
And touching on the PC side of thing, I recommend everyone, if you're really interested in America, to watch the Gamers Nexus Death of Affordable PC Gaming video. You know, it's a long video. I don't want to say it's slow, but it is, because it's just interviews with manufacturers and stuff. It's very insightful for someone like me that's not in America, trying to just learn a bit more about what Americans are having to deal with. It's quite eye-opening, but it's also like, oh no, like what's going to happen now
happen everywhere,
with PC handhelds in particular.
Yeah, so if I was to give you like a token bit of advice, if you were kind of on the fence about PC handhelds right now, I know there's a lot, whenever we bring it up, like buying guides and stuff, there's always a lot going, I'm just going to wait for XYZ. And that's the most common thing I would see.
Yeah.
I would argue that you're probably going to get the best value proposition right now.
They've already gone up.
Potentially.
Some of them have gone up by $100. Some of them have gone up by like 50. But I think that was before this big tariff thing's actually set into place. But I don't know.
The one the one thing that might be a saving grace for Asus in particular is I know that the company's Taiwanese, so it's not Chinese. I don't know. I would assume their manufacturing's in Taiwan as well, but I don't know for certain. So they may escape the worst of it, but things have been underpriced in general. I would say right now is going to be your best possible chance to get the best value proposition you could. When I think about the Z1E Ally, not the X, the white one, the value on that is crazy at the moment. I see them pre-owned for like $320, $350.
Yeah,
cheaper than Steam
like
Decks.
Giving them away in the UK
because they're not as popular. But they're, if you can find one of those, there's one locally. I keep looking and thinking, do you know, it's so cheap that it'd be kind of crazy just to leave it there on the shelf.
Yeah.
I haven't got that much disposable cash just to chuck around. It's kind of crazy to leave it there.
Yeah. They're very good devices for the cost.
If you can find one of those right now, I would say, and you're on the edge, I'd say pick it up because you're going to get some good years out of that.
Yeah, even just to safeguard yourself until you see what the actual prices of the new stuff's at, and then you can either sell it on or whatever. And if the new stuff's way too high a price, well then you've got this.
Yeah. And especially if you're buying pre-owned, let's say if you can pick up a Z1E for $350 pre-owned, or even $400, you're definitely going to be able to sell it again for that.
Yeah.
If it's 6 months' time,
you
definitely. So when the new ones come out, and the pricings are announced, and they're like, "Oh, it's actually not that bad. I'm going to jump in, sell it. You're probably not going to lose any money."
Yeah.
But if not, like say, you're going to get some good years out of it. I think this next year's going to be rough in prices.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah, from now onward, I think
What's your prediction for the next generation? We talked about it recently. Next generation for Xbox prices.
I think it's going to start at like PS5 Pro prices.
Yeah.
I think we're at that $700 mark for a base tier.
Yeah.
Maybe even more. I mean, because I can't imagine PS6 being cheaper than a PS5 Pro.
But it can't be, can it?
Can't be. So, like, maybe we're at the 750 mark. It's again PC territory. Like,
one thing that has to happen. I know I was going to wrap it up, but one thing that has to happen is the next generation has to be a decent leap. It has to be worth it.
Yes.
Otherwise, people are just going to hold on.
There needs to be an actual improvement. I know Xbox keeps saying it's going to be the biggest generational leap in performance ever seen, but it needs to be.
But like Nintendo showed us that by holding off and then actually making a big leap,
that
the reaction to the hardware part of it, you're like, wow, this is a huge upgrade.
Massively, yeah.
PS4 to PS5, Xbox One to Series X wasn't a massive leap.
No, not really, no.
Really, the leap came when PS5 Pro came out.
Yeah.
So if you went from PS4 to PS5 Pro, you'd be like, that's a decent leap.
That is the leap we should have seen between PS4 to PS5.
And that's what we need to see to justify this.
Yeah.
What's going to be close to $1,000 prices.
Yeah, and there needs to be no Pro variant.
Get rid of this mid-gen refresh, because that's the other thing we see with the Switch. Everyone's just going, oh, they're just going to do a mid-gen refresh. Just wait for that. Like, just do away with that.
Yeah, don't even bother.
It's just upsetting consumers.
Yeah. And Xbox have done that this time around, which is right. They've not bothered. The Series X has just sat there. Yeah, okay, there's like all digital and stuff.
I guarantee Sony won't listen to that, though.
No.
They're definitely going to keep doing the Pro
thing. They love overpricing everything already, so just wait until the prices go up. But yeah, I really hope for everyone's sake that there's no Pro variant. Stop trying to copy PCs, because that's all they were doing. They saw the PC side.
I'm saying $900 for next generation.
Do you reckon?
Yeah.
Wow.
And you'll see a PS5, you'll see a PS6 Pro at 12. I just think it.
Yeah, so, I think it will be like $750 starting point.
Maybe.
And then $1,000 for a Pro if they do it, which no one should buy. Just buy a PC.
It throws everything up in the air. We were talking about like Xbox handhelds, PlayStation handhelds. There's big talk about that. I think the prices of those are going to be really interesting now. And you've got to consider it in the landscape of the Switch is so cheap now.
Yeah.
Switch 2.
Yeah,
it's so cheap by comparison now.
Yeah. It's $200 cheaper than an Xbox.
As is the Steam Deck.
Yeah.
To be fair to it. As is the Steam Deck. As is the first allies. You know, like there's some really cheap propositions out there now. I think Xbox and PlayStation may end up running away. I don't know what you guys think. Let us know. Join in the conversation down in the comments. It's getting a bit doom and gloom. This is the last time we'll do it, I promise, because I get bored of it. I get bored of the pricing thing. I just want to be fun.
Yeah, I get bored of it as well. I just want to. Honestly, the thing I'm most hyped for now is getting hands on with the
Switch 2.
It's
going to happen.
Not even to make videos on. I just
want to play games.
Want to play on it.
Yeah. Same. Absolutely same. But yeah, join in the conversation down in the comments. I'd love to know what you guys think about the new Xbox prices. And does that make the Switch 2 more generously affordable in your mind or not? Is the whole thing drop the price written in different caps? Please tell us in the comments down below. What's down a dig around? What else should they do, Andy?
Become a member. And you can sometimes see these videos early, not all the time.
To be fair, we've not done it because there's been like a video every day. So it's been kind of mad. If you remember, you have like tons of notifications.
But you get to chat to us on our Discord.
Indeed you do.
Yes.
So like the video, subscribe for more handheld gaming content coming up really soon. I was just going to say Switch 2, but it's handheld in general. But you know the thing. Yeah. So until the next time.
Bye.
Oh, Andy.
I'm not saying it.
Say it. Say it.
Not doing it.
Have a nice day.